welcome back. Today we're going to continue the conversation of the hiring manager journey, what are some things that hiring managers could use in order to make sure that they're getting the right people. And in the last video, we spoke about creating the job posting or perhaps interviewing in the way so that you not only find the right person, but you eliminate the wrong person from the search. But that's not the only issue. There's another issue, which is if the job descriptions or if the HR descriptions for what it's possible for you to hire for are out of date or don't suit your needs, what do you do? I'll throw that over to you two.
Thanks, Leo. I'll pick this one up to start with. I think I'll put a finer point on it. I've worked at big financial institutions worldwide, but in the US specifically, where the idea of doing agile is so new to the organization that it's probably fostered by a technologist, and they've read a book and they want to start doing things and they think they're in control of their whole world, and then they go to hire some necessary people to do this, and whilst they can advertise for a developer and look and see whether the developer has any agile skills, when it comes to filling some of these other more dedicated roles like Scrum Master or Agile Coach, the organization that controls the recruiting doesn't have any frame of reference. So to put it, to make it real, there is no Scrum Master or Agile Coach job description, and there is no career path, and there is no expertise in hiring those roles. So how do we hire people that we need in our early days, or even further on in the effort? Like, how do we get past this? And I think for me, it's like a dual speed thing. Like, there's a challenge the organization in the long term, and I think there's a kind of workaround in the short term. So that, if that makes sense to you two, like either in the short term or the long term, do you have any tips or any things you've done or any experience in short term or long term kind of changing the organization to recognize these roles?
Yes, I've had some experience with this. My success has been limited. I've gotten people to understand that if you're posting, so for example, you brought up Scrum Masters. If the job description is like project manager or technical this, that, or the other, that's what you're going to get. So I've seen them try to fill a role of Scrum Master, but they come in with someone who is very managerial and very technical. So what happens if you get that? Rather than getting a servant leader who's going to help empower the team, you're getting a smartest person in the room who's going to solve problems for the team, which makes the team disengage, which makes them, you end up with a traditional kind of a situation where in theory, you're trying to do a transformation. So just using the Scrum Master example, and again, Ben, to your point, there's no career path. Why would anyone even want the role to come in to say, well, this isn't the thing that's listed of what I'm trying to do. And then if I do a really good job at it, what's next for me?
Yeah. So why would they want the role? And are they even aware of what the actual role is? Like, if it's a posting on LinkedIn or if it's a posting for a recruiter, like, how would that person even know that although the job description is about a technical project manager, the want from the hiring manager is for a Scrum Master? Like, how would they even find candidates? So I've actually had a little bit of kind of success in this. So in the short term, like let's assume that the organization is not agile enough to change the job description. So you're going to have to post for a role which doesn't exactly match what you want, and in some instances doesn't remotely match what you want. What I've done, a couple of things, is I've had people who I know who are good, and I've made them aware of an advert. So I've said, okay, you're a great Scrum Master. Look at this job posting. I know it doesn't match what you do, but trust me, it really will when you get your boots on the ground. So reaching out and saying, please apply for this. I'll make sure that you get through to, the appropriate point in the interview process, such that we're talking about Scrum and Agile and not about technical project management. So almost kind of proactively doing the recruiting yourself and finding the people you want to work with and saying, look, ignore the title, ignore the bullet points, trust me on this. And I've had some success like that. Where that hasn't been successful, and in other instances, I've also limited my expenditure in that process. So if a job advert goes out that doesn't accurately describe the role that I'm trying to fill, I'd make sure that the first thing in the process is to have a 15-minute phone call with the person. And in that 15-minute phone call, then I can judge, are they the right person? Are they aware of the actual role? I can tell them what the actual role is without having to change the job description. That way I can get through 8 or 10 people in an afternoon, where I can easily cut them out of the process or forward them on in the process with a relatively small amount of effort. That should be noted, though, like that's still pretty expensive when you consider what should really happen, which is we should probably make sure we have an accurate job description. So like that in my experience is a longer term thing. Let me ask you guys a question. Like, have you had any experience of working? So quite a lot of coaches' effort is spent in technology or with product about building better products and creating better software. Have you engaged with other departments, specifically kind of human resources or recruiting or human capital, where you've had to educate them about what Agile is, or have you done that? Have you had any success doing that?
Limited. So I've gotten the conversation started. Very, very large financial institution. They understood the need. I was not there long enough to see if anything came of it, but it did get far enough to the point that they understood the need. They asked a lot of really good questions, and I hope that something good happened.
I think that the first thing that happens is resistance to change. That's typical of human behavior. So what really helped me was to build this as a case, to be able to have a conversation with those key those people that have positions in key, are able to make decisions. First of all, with the HR manager, but in a way that you explain this new thing and the value that they will get from this and why it is important to do it. And in my opinion, it takes time. It's not only one conversation. But if the top leaders do not buy that, you need the buy-in from the top leaders, or a top leader that is able to make decisions and change what they have done and to do it differently. No, okay, let's change how we do our job postings, and let's start including the word Scrum Master, right?
Yeah.
It takes time, but I think you can it's part of a natural way of changing, transforming.
Yeah. And I think actually, if you think about it, it's not unique that it shouldn't be anything unique that it's a Scrum Master. We're saying there is a new role in the industry that we want to hire for. It's just the same as saying, I want a data scientist, or I want a big data engineer, or I want an AI developer. 10 years ago, we weren't hiring for AI developers. So somehow, somewhere, we've had to create a new role and a career path for AI developers, the same way that we're asking to do that for Scrum Masters or Agile coaches. So I feel like maybe drawing analogies between what we're asking for, which is Scrum Master isn't a project manager, and we can't just lay back on this thing. We need a new career path and a new role description, the same way that an AI developer isn't just a full stack developer, it's a separate thing. And helping people understand that's the equivalent, because obviously they have tackled having new roles in businesses in the past.
There's another element here, though, that is a little bit more disruptive. And it's the idea that of the servant leader or the coach or the facilitator. It's that dynamic culture shift. And, this is not necessarily a new concept, but it's one of my favorites, which is don't promote someone into the position of leading people if they are really good at a skill. If they're really good at a skill and they deserve a promotion, find out whether or not they enjoy leading people. But their only recourse should not be leading people if they've become so senior at a skill that the only way to keep them is to promote them. So there's this idea of a leadership track that's only a leadership track that only servant leaders should go into, wherein every X amount of people has this coach slash facilitator slash somebody that keeps the, keeps everything healthy, keeps everyone attached to the vision. It's the glue that keeps the nervous system of the entire organization together. If that were to be created as a distinct career path, I don't care if you call it Scrum Master, coach, or anything else, where I'm a team this, and I've gotten good at being a team this, and now I'm going to be a team of teams this, and then I'm going to be at the organizational level, and I've become sufficiently sophisticated in my ability to solve larger and larger problems that you're now going to trust me with that next order of leadership. And I think that's a paradigm shift that the industry needs.
Yeah. Okay, so if we just summarize kind of the takeaways here, I think it's like, we have sympathy for people. We've worked in these places where it is hard to even get the right job posting out to find the right people. And I think it's a two-speed approach. So in the short term, try and solicit people directly, get them to apply for the job that doesn't match the actual job description that's there. And or reduce your cost of putting people through the initial stages of the process by doing quick 10-minute phone interviews and kind of seeing whether the person is the old job description or the new job description. And then your harder task is, in the longer term, how do you change that job description? And I think working with partners about educating them, like Lucci said, about what the benefit is for them, why it's important to the company, finding equivalents and helping them understand that there is a need for a new role and new career path. That should help us in the longer term. So is there anything else, anyone? No? Okay, well, that's my summary.
All right, thank you, Ben. That was perfect. For everyone else, we hope to see you next time. Please like, subscribe, and we're going to continue this hiring manager theme. So carry on with us if you're interested. Take care.